Dominique, thank you very much for being on the podcast. It's a huge
Uh,
honor.
Hey, thank you for having me. This is amazing. I love speaking to people that I don't know.
So it's interesting times right now. We have COVID going on, and the
Cool.
restaurant industry is slightly, yeah, something unusual happening. How is Atelier Crenn adapting to this time?
Um, well, Atelier Crenn is located in San Francisco. San Francisco is still very much on the lockdown, kind of. We are doing a lot of takeout. We just built. We can serve outdoor, but I don't know if you know the San Francisco, but it's freezing in the summertime. So we serve about 16 people a day outside. It's a lot of fun. And then I do Atelier Crenn at home. So I have all those little packages, that we make with like video and people can eat the food. But man, I'm working on other things. So I'm bored. I'm really bored.
Okay, so how is the fine food to go? Have you ever imagined that this may be possible?
Well, no, I mean I think I leave that to people know how to do food to go, but now we have to adapt. I think it's about adaptation. Not a long time ago, I was doing virtual dinner with Vladimir.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, you saw that? So
Yes.
so that was really amazing. I sent him all my recipe, and then he made them, and then then we were on the Zoom dinner with the people that were ordering it, and it was just really really fun. So people were cooking our food, with instruction, but at the end of the day, as cook, we want to engage with the consumer. We want to like talk and have a glass of wine, or and this is we it's a lonely time for us as chefs. It's very lonely.
And I saw that you temporarily closed Petit Cran.
Yes, I temporarily close it, but I'm using the kitchen to fight hunger in America. So every day we cook about 300 meals a day for the homeless population. And next week we're gonna go 400. So we're doing about 2,000 dinner a week.
Wow.
So and so that food going to fight hunger in America, literally, and especially the homeless population. So it's a good thing, I mean, I can't open indoors, so I want to use, I want to keep my team on at the restaurant and do something good for the community. So
Where did this idea come from?
I partner with a company called Rethink Food. Rethink Food Group started in New York about 4 or 5 years ago, kind of with what Massimo did with Food for
Hmm.
Soul. So using all the extra and the waste, the food that is not being used, the surplus of food uh, were giving to them, and then they were making meal out of them to feed people on the street. And through the pandemic, they kind of I mean, a lot of people needed food. So Daniel Hahn from 11 Park Madison partnered with them and all that. So I've been in discussion with them, and then there was no one on the West Coast
Hmm.
to do this. So I'm like, hey, let me take the lead on this, and let's start this on the West Coast, and perhaps after that, every restaurant can add it to a part of the restaurant, and maybe everybody can feed everyone, maybe 50 meal, 100 meal, whatever. I mean, pandemic or not pandemic, there's a lot of people that need food. So it's so rewarding to do those things. So
Yeah, in San Francisco particularly, yes, the homeless population grew, and it's yeah, you're doing a great things for them.
yeah, I mean, the San Francisco is, I mean, from when I moved here in the 90s, now I I just don't understand it sometimes. it's a big crisis.
Do you think the restaurant industry is going to be changed in certain way after the pandemics, or it's going to go back to normal?
Nothing's going to go back to normal. Yes, I do believe it's going to change. It may be in a good way. I think people are going to be. I think chefs going to start to cook food that are personal and are local and more seasonal. Um, Customer like you, if you go to a restaurant, you want to know what you're eating and where the food comes from. I think it's going to be more awareness about how the food is made and where the food comes from. And I think to rebuild um, the world, or to rebuild each community, we have to get re-involved with the community. So for example, in San Francisco, I think the way that restaurants gonna be able to rebuild themselves is to work with the other people in the community, like the farmers and the fishermen, the ranch monger, the fishmonger, and the rancher, the person that doing the cheese. So buy more locally instead of buying, outside of the border. So that, I think that's the way that we're gonna create a more local cuisine that is much needed, and when I want to, I was supposed to go to cook at the White Rabbit in Russia in November. Obviously, it's not
Nice.
gonna happen, but I was so excited because you guys have different produce, different way of, and I was so excited about it because I could, create an Atelier Crenn experience with the time and place like Russia, so I think we're gonna see more of that. um, I think people are going to be more, the food system definitely going to change, but I think in a good way. So that's the positive.
So what drives it? Is it because the food logistics has been disrupted during the COVID and restaurants were forced to get the supply locally, or why exactly it's?
Well, so in America, when you look at the data and what's happening during the pandemic, um, 90% of the people that are getting sick in America, I would say 90%, it's because of all underlying diseases like diabetes and
Mhm.
heart disease and obesity and all that. And that is due to the food they've been eating through these years. So what we realize that food is doesn't help people to be better, and so what America is has a big problem in food. There's it needs to stop. This fast food and all that need to stop. We need to
Mhm.
go back to a time where you cook all food. You know where the food come from. So that, I think, is going to change because it's not sustainable. I mean, especially in an unprivileged community where they don't have access to good food, so they eat fast food 24/7. It's not good for you. We all know that. But we love
Yeah.
fast food, but we all know that.
Do you love fast food too?
No, I don't like fast food. I think usually all people love that. But I can make some very delicious fast food.
Made of some the best
Yeah, ingredient. Yes, and
ingredients. Here,
I
yeah.
think we can do that. I think we can make the food affordable but good food if we all work together. I really believe that.
Prior to pandemics, did you see any type of trend towards this healthier food in the fine food industry, on the restaurant industry in general?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the last few years, people are more conscious about the planet
Hmm.
and the humanity, and because of the climate change and all that, I think they're more conscious about understanding where their food come from, if there is pesticide or not pesticide. um, the vegetarian and the vegan industry just
Hmm.
trillion dollars industry, where it was 10 years ago was almost zero. So there is a sense of like there is a way of, I think I felt that the world wanted to rebalance a little bit themselves. It's all about balancing.
Hmm.
I'm not telling you to go all vegan. I think we need balance, and we need to rebalance the way that we've been producing and feeding people. And the trend it was already there for sure.
So this plant-based diet and vegan, as you said, how does it affect your restaurant? Did you change your menu a little bit, or you always been leaning
Well, I
towards
mean,
that type of?
so Petit Crenn has been always vegetarian and pescatarian. We have fish and
Hmm.
vegetable only, never meat product. It's been like that since the beginning. Atelier Crenn became pescatarian, which is because I love fish. I love fish and vegetable. I love vegetable. It's been like that for 2 years and a half now. And when I'm going to reopen Petit Crenn, it's going to be all vegetarian
Oh,
from the.
really?
Yeah, we have a farm. We've been working and creating a lot of dishes and high-end dishes with vegetable, and you're gonna see it's delicious. It's great, and it's all about the technique and the way that you cook things. It's all the layers of flavor and umami. So it's not because you have a protein and So when we reopen, it's gonna be beautiful tasting menu, all vegetarian, but like the best that you ever had.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So you recently wrote a fascinating memoir, and as I said, I really enjoyed it, and I really recommend it to listeners. And I'm not saying it because you're on a podcast. You're on a podcast because of that fascinating memoir.
Right.
So, where did the idea come from?
So I don't know if you know, but I wrote a book,
Yes.
cookbook.
Hmm.
And then in the cookbook, it was not just recipe, but it was also a story. So the publishing company came to me about in 2000, the beginning of 2018, and they asked me if I was interested to write my story. And I was just so excited because I didn't want to do another cookbook. There's a lot of cookbook out there. I leave people to do their own cookbook. I'm not interested of doing this, and I wanted to tell a story to reflect on my life and to inspire also. And perhaps when people really read the book, could be inspired also on reflecting on who they are as human and what the their journey have taken us in life. So it's a book of reflection. It's also a book of finding myself. I was adopted when I was a little girl, and even I was born in France. I don't really know my DNA. It was very interesting. The first when I did my DNA, like a few years ago, because they keep giving me different data. But the first data they gave me, there was a part, I think it was like 0. I don't know, 7% or 0.007, I don't remember. It was in the Yakub in Siberia.
Oh my! So we may be relatives, you know?
I I was like the Yakub in Siberia, which is a tribe, and it's like Siberia. This is amazing. So what DNA show you? So for me, the interesting things about DNA is show you how the world has migrated to
Hmm.
center, and it allowed me to not define myself as being a I don't know if I'm white. I'm just me. So it's very interesting to not put a label on what is your bloodline is, but really trying to understand really who you are inside. So it's fascinating to me.
So obviously you had to look back at your past and try to get all these details. Was there anything that was surprising to you? Like maybe you looked at certain things from different perspective, looking back after not revisiting those memories for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, so my dad, my adoptive dad is my heroes, is my mentor. I always say it's easy to sleep with someone and to have a baby, but it's not easy to be a parent.
Hmm.
See, two different things. Um, he really opened me up to a lot of, he was a politician, so he opened me up a lot, and an artist, also a painter. He really opened me up a lot in a lot of things, but he was very also very French, religious, and like there is things that sometimes he didn't see outside of the box. And I feel that I myself, I've been always very much free and a sense of freedom within me. And it was very interesting that we had a lot of conversation together. And he often asked me, you know, where do you come up with those ideas, Dom? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just very curious, and I'm looking at the world, or maybe this is a part of who I am, and I don't know yet. Um, my father, I mean, I'm definitely where I am today because of what he has taught me as a person. And my mom also, I've done a lot of I got to credit her for this, but he really allowed me of being who I am today. And someone that is very kind, someone that is very curious, someone that is very inviting others to the conversation, someone that doesn't see color, someone that doesn't see that interested in different culture, someone that is respectful, and someone that just want to always learn, you know. Like I was so excited to go to Russia because since I was a little girl, I've been obsessed with Russia. It's like all the different country, and I mean, I would say different country, right? Different layers, and the beauty and the culture and all of that. And and that part, I don't know that part of the world, so I was very interested to go there. So this is like what he kind of helped me to always be curious about others. Like Georgia was so excited to go there, but obviously I didn't. But the wine and the food, and like I heard about it, and I'm like, this is amazing. I want to go there, you know. So.
And for the listeners, we're talking about country Georgia, not state Georgia, because I
Yeah,
told
the
them.
country. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dominique, take me back to the time when you were just adopted. You told the story in your book.
Yes.
You were 18 months old.
I was adopted at 18 months old. Yes. I was abandoned when I was 6 months old. My birth mother was, it's very interesting. It's very tricky. So my birth mother abandoned me when I was 6 months old, but she kept me for 6 months. So she wanted to be with me, and she was a single woman. She was abandoned at birth too. Interesting. So she lived all her life in an orphanage up in the north part of France. She was born during the German occupation.
Wow.
So France was divided in two places. One was Free France, and the other area was occupied France. So it was the north part of France, next to Les Ardennes, and she was born there during the German occupation, and she was the product of a French woman and a German soldier. And then she was taken away because it was a no-no at the time. So it's very interesting. So this is where I find in my DNA my French and German DNA also. And then, you know, she never came back and get me. So the police came and get me to the babysitter, and I was there. And then those two amazing people were looking to adopt a little girl, and my brother, they already adopted a little boy that became my brother. And it was a beautiful story because they were walking into the orphanage and with the principal of the orphanage, and suddenly they turned around and they were looking for Jean-Christophe, and he was with me and he was holding me and kissing me. And they were like, okay, she's the one. I grew up outside of Paris, in an area. I was born in Versailles, so outside of Paris, and I just had the most beautiful childhood that I can ever think, and I feel very grateful and very lucky that I was given a chance to be loved by other people. So, and I talk to a lot of people that been adopted or people that can't have baby and they don't know about. And I say this is a beautiful thing to, to give love to little children. It's so beautiful to me. So because we need love, as a kid. So.
What's your favorite childhood memory?
Oh, you must know that. Eating a tomato in the garden of my grandmother. That's the most beautiful food memory that I ever had. It's grabbing this tomato of the vine of the tomato and eating it. I think my most beautiful memories is conversation and traveling with my parents.
Mm.
Like I loved it because they put my brother and I in always different situation. We didn't know where we were going to go. Like for example, we're going to go to Lourdes and then we're going to go to Spain and then we're going to walk and we're going to walk up the Pyrenees. So like these adventures. It's like, what do you mean? We're going out there, and so that was so that those memories about discovering what you don't know and be exposed of other things, that is amazing to me. Yeah.
You mentioned that your father was a politician, and you've learned a lot from him. Like your curiosity probably comes from him,
Right.
your appreciation of art. Oh, what did your mother do, and what did you learn from her?
My mother was a financial advisor, so
Mhm.
she dealt with money. She's very good at it. The house was very tidy. I learned how to cook with my grandmother, but with my mother too. She make dinner. I mean, every night, obviously, but like during if we had people over, or my dad had people over, or on the weekend. The weekend was always a big feast.
Mhm.
And so we go to the market, which was up the street, the farmer market, and then just go and get the stuff. And all day long, she's in the kitchen teaching you how to make a rabbit stew with a dry prune and mushroom, or the tarte tatin, or a little gratiné of potato. And it was always this sense of like making things from scratch and delicious, and the smell in the kitchen. So she taught me a lot of those things.
Did you have any hobbies as a child?
Oh yeah, I played soccer for 12 years.
Oh, nice. At what position?
I was a middle center. I don't know if you say that in
Yes.
America. And I play with the boy, by the matter of fact, because there was not really any girls playing it. I practice judo with my
Wow.
brother. I play handball. Do you know the handball?
Yes.
Yes.
Like handball is like the basketball, but like so I play
With goals, yeah.
with the goals. So I play. I was the captain of my team for about 10 years. Um, what else did I do? I play piano, flute. Um, okay, I don't know if everybody. I was a classical dancer also when I was very young, and I didn't like my teacher.
So you prefer judo than that?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I mean, yes, because it was so strict. She was like this older lady, and she had a piano, and then it's like the piano, and then like the dance and movement were all precise, and I just wanted to dance. So it didn't work. I remember I have all those little picture of me with my tutu. It's like, yeah. So I was very athletic, very athletic.
Who did you want to be when grew up? Did you have the idea of being chef early on, or it's something that came to
No,
you later?
I wanted to be Stocky and Hutch, which is a TV show on TV, American TV show. It's like those two detective.
Yes.
going through, you know what I'm talking. I wanted to save the world. Um, I wanted to be a photographer. I had a lot of dreams being a photographer, and the school Louis Lumière didn't accept my bachelor degree. I have a bachelor degree in economy. Uh, you couldn't get into school unless you had a bachelor in mathematics or science, and that was not me.
Yeah, that makes no sense, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Uh, I, but I was always connected with food, but I don't think I knew that it's like, oh, I want to be a chef. I mean, maybe I said that to my mom one day. Oh, I want to have I think when I was 9 years old, I wanted to have a restaurant. I want this symphony. I want this. But I don't think I was, um, I know that I was going to do something creative that connect me and let me be engaged with people for sure. And I didn't know what will be the vehicle that allow me to do this. And food became the vehicle for me to come from who I am, to have a story, to have a narrative, and to share that to you and to others. And it's like, the food is those little different color of paint, and I'm using my mind and my taste and my finger to just paint on the plate and then bring something together. So that's how I see, me being in the food industry, a chef, I guess. I don't know.
You clearly speak as a very creative person. How did you end up in economics? Why did you decide to take that degree?
Why not? So in France, there is, at the time, when you in this, so there is a there is different years. So the 3 years before the bachelor, they give you a direction.
Mhm.
So they tell you that they kind of tell you where you will do probably better in economy. First of all, you can't go to C, which is mathematics, because you're terrible at it. So it was like the option between literature and economy, and I felt that economy was much more wide experience for me, so I could understand how the world run, and how to understand more about the world and the economic of this world. And I'm always been interested in that. So literature was a little bit more too specific for me.
Mhm.
My brother did literature. He's an amazing writer. He's like, his brain is crazy. But I wanted to, learn about history, geography, and literature, and all those things that I think are important in this world. So,
If I went to school or university with you, how would I describe you as a person?
um, super fun. Someone that didn't like to study, but was very good at school. Someone that was always the life. Probably you will laugh with me all the time. Uh, we probably do crazy things together. Um, I was popular, yet I was also, I like to be alone. Someone I was the person, my friend that was with me. We write poetry together. We like cinema. We like to think outside of the box. Um, we probably missed some classes also. I was a rebel on my own. So,
So, and
but
that rebellious character basically was the reason why you left France for United States. What was the story behind it? How did you decide to do it?
well, I love my country. France is a beautiful country. It's beautiful people, but the bureaucracy of it
Mhm.
was very frustrating for me. Meaning by everything needs to be done by the book. Everything has to have layer of documentation, and you have to be, older enough to do this, and the youngster needs to learn first, and they can't think for the old or elderly people. You know, it's like it was like this
Hmm.
this box that you were inside, and the bureaucracy of it. I'm like, no, I don't. I need to go to a place where I feel that I can be free and create things that I want to create. And uh, I think California, Los Angeles at first, but San Francisco was very much very close to being an European country.
Yeah.
And I could be free. I could be who you know, nobody judged me. Nobody, um, you know, point finger at me. I mean, it's all about respecting each other. And I felt a lot of diversity also, different culture. And I was interested in that. So it was beautiful.
So you basically read about United States and about California and San Francisco and thought this is the right place to go, or it's you had friends here who would tell you that.
No, I found it on my own. And then my dad knew someone in San Francisco. So this is what I did, you know. But there is United States and there is California.
Yeah.
This is two different things.
True. True.
I think, you know, I think California should be, I mean, a lot of people say it should be its own country. I think in the number uh, fifth or sixth uh,
Economy. Yeah.
economy in the world. I mean, I
Hmm.
don't know what's going to happen right now, but this is who we are right now. And I don't know, I think America is too, I think it should be little country, you know, it's too many differences everywhere. So.
True. So there is a fascinating story about you approaching Jeremiah Towers, who was this legendary figure who, by the way, he disappeared. And
No, he's still alive.
yeah,
Uh,
I found him on Instagram because
I think it's in Mexico,
is
I
it
believe.
Mexico? Yeah, interesting.
So, and then I think so. What Jeremiah is an amazing man, and
Mm.
we're very, very close friend today, which is great. So the story was, then I just realized that I really want to maybe work in a restaurant, and so I did a lot of research, and his name came up, and he's put the Chez Panisse on the map with Alice Water. He was the
Hmm.
chef of Chez Panisse. And his way of cooking was very much about the now, locally seasoned farming community, and creating a menu every day of whatever you have in your fridge or whatever the farmer is giving you. And I really like that sense of cooking. So I literally came to the restaurant and he was like standing in front of this beautiful open kitchen, directing people. I'm not sure. It was like a direct, like you know, think about being in an orchestra and you get the symphony playing, and then
Hmm.
there's like the conductor that's just exactly the same visual. And then I just came to him and I say, I want to introduce myself, and I'm Dominique Crenn, and I would like to really learn from you. And then he didn't pay attention to me like for like 5-10 minutes, and I got like, I say yo. No, I didn't say yo, but I said, listen, I'm Dominique Crenn. Okay, I was not trained at school for being a chef. I love cooking, and by the way, I'm French, so you should be happy to have me on the team. And then he just turned around. He's like, okay, who are you? And then he put me on the grill with the sous chef and then I was there for almost 2 years and a half. So it was great. And so I learned a lot. And so until today, you know what also fascinated me about him, that Jeremiah never went to cooking school.
Oh, really? Huh.
Jeremiah learned, he's an architect. And when he was very young, he came from a very well-off family, a bourgeoisie family. And when he was young, his parents were traveling all over the world and left him in the room by himself. So what he did when he was young, he used to go down the restaurant, sitting by himself, telling, "Hey, I'm the son of," and the chef used to cook for him. and he used to eat by himself, 9 years old, whatever, and he used to collect all those menus that he went to like very like 5-star restaurant and all that. And this is his story. And then he got into cooking because he really loved cooking. And I think he was cooking at home or something. I don't know where he was doing with some friends. And they say, hey, it's amazing what you're doing. You know, you should go and work with Alice Water. And this is how he got into the world, to the Bay Area, and how he got suddenly it just flourished beautifully. So today, we've been very good friends, and he's been very kind to me and very uplifting. So it was very nice. So what he's been doing is been buying a lot of houses and then renovating him like architecture wise
Oh, yeah, okay.
all the way. So and then he's a writer also. So yeah, he's still around. He's a really really fascinating man. He has a lot of story, and you can learn so much from him just to be around him. Yeah.
So when you told him that you are not trained, do you think that's what he basically related to you? That's why he gave you a chance, or what do you think was?
You know, looking back, I really think so. But as I think also he saw someone in front of him that has balls, that just didn't want to walk away, was not intimidated. She was saying what she wanted to say, and I think he appreciated that. He had a lot of respect for that, and he probably saw himself in me a little bit. I told him that one time, and he's like, oh, I'm like, yes, you did. Do not lie to me.
So this confidence of yours, were you born with it, or it was kind of nurtured by your parents?
um, I truly believe that every child is born with something within them. And I think parents help them to foster
Hmm.
whatever they have. So, yes, my parents definitely foster that confidence in me at a very, very young age. And he gave me the ability to find myself in a way that I was not scared about exploring things that I didn't know. So, yeah, confidence, yes, and I think it's important to know that children are come out with their own personality, but every child has confidence. It's up to the parents to bring the confidence up or to bring it down. So.
And in the book, you talk about how Jeremiah gave you a lot of responsibility quite early, and overall, you had a great experience. My understanding with working with him, right?
Yeah, so the reason why is when you walk into his kitchen and when you work for him is so literally the menu was written every day, okay,
Hmm.
so whatever they had, and you often is, you know, the sous chef go at night and look at what they have, and then the next day they write the menu, and then as a cook you come in, um, you know, your schedule might be 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. and at that time you better come at 9 o'clock in the morning to make sure you have your prep done, you know. So you came in and they just, okay, Dominique, today you are on the hot appetizer station. You have 5 items, and they give you the item. They give you the item without recipe.
Hmm.
And so you have a soup of butternut squash with a whip, ginger, whatever. You have fried calamari, you know, with this sauce. You have a sandab, which is a fish with, let's say, peppers, black olive sauce. You have, and then so they give you the parameter of your dish, but no recipe. So it was up to us to make those dishes. And at 4:30, the chef, Jeremiah, and the executive chef came and test each dishes. And remember, we open at 5. So if they didn't like the dish, you had half hour to be able to recreate and re-prep the dish. And then remember, Stars is a place that used to serve 500 people a day. So as a cook, you like the responsibility of being detailed and focused and making sure that every time your food was on point. Maybe, you know, miss a little bit of salt, which is okay. This was okay. But if Jeremiah came and take your dish and look at you and say, "You really killing me right now," take the plate and throw it in, and it's like, guess what? You have half her.
Did it happen to you?
Never. It never happened to me. I swear to God, I never, and I remember Mark France and Jeremiah was like, okay, you follow the rules. This is good. This is, and I'm like, well, I learned. So what I learned, I was watching everybody's doing it too before. Mm-hmm. You have like a sense of paying attention and absorbing as fast as you can. Yes, you can do it.
So how much of it is your talent of absorbing things versus your ability to actually cook that you learned from your mother?
I think I absorb things very easily, faster. I think I use the idea of my mother cooking more like a sense and place and different high layering of umami that I know. You know, people say that I do good sauces because I think I learned this from, they are the fabric of the French gastronomy, all sauces, broth and all of that. So that I use that knowledge and I take that knowledge to a place where I can absorb something that really inspire me. And doesn't have to be food, it can be art. I can go to the museum and like just being absorbed by a painting and then feeling what the painting make me feel and create a dish out of it. And or just a sense of place, you know. And you know, I think when I went to Japan really changed the way that I cook. I think it was about less is more. And it was about looking at the product. The product needs to be pristine, needs to be the best. And then from that, understanding the layer and how you're going to bring this product to a most pristine place that it is, which it could be difficult. And it's just about looking, testing, and, you know, bringing the right layer. You know, I say, you know, when you cook it, when you kill it once, you don't want to kill it twice. So you want to celebrate that product and give him a place in the cooking world where, you know, I can cook you a bits and I hope it's going to be the best bit that you ever had, because I want to take that bits and really understand the layer and what I can bring to it. So
one thing that you mentioned, that it wasn't, not all of your co-workers or bosses after Stars were as nice and as supportive, right? And you actually had some bad experiences. I was curious if your first experience was something like that negative one that you've described in the book. Do you think it would affect your career at all?
No, I think in life you it's not because you have negative experiences that you gotta, that it can affect that. You know, you got to take that negativity and turn into a positive outlook. So basically, I learned from everything. I'm going to give you an example. You know, if you in your life, if you have some challenge and negative things that happen to you, you have two choices. Or you take that negativity and you carry this for the rest of your life and you become very miserable, or you take that negativity and you turn it to a learning and a positive outlook, and you use that to make yourself stronger and that's how I look at things. I never let things to put me down. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not a good thing, but you know what? I'm going to learn from this, and I'm going to make sure that the outlook on my world is going to bring that things in a positive way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you can adjust yourself. Like, for example, there is a story that I will always say, and it's a true story. It has nothing to do with food. It was this very famous serial killer that was in jail forever, ready to be executed. And then a journalist um, interviewed him. And then the journalist found out that he had two sons. And so the journalist decided to interview those two sons because he wanted to know how the impact of their father and the cruelty and the murder and all that impact them their life. The first one was in jail and lead the life or not a good life, you know, always. The second one was a very successful financial person. And the journalist asked the same question to those sons, and they both answered the same way, but two different outcomes. They said, why are you in jail now? Why are you living the life of your father? It's like the son say, I didn't have a choice. I follow his. And then the other one say, I didn't have a choice. I need to make a better life for myself. You see, it's very interesting, right?
That's interesting. So
yeah.
you spent time in different restaurants and in different type of world as well, right? You've been in Indonesia,
Right.
and then you spent some time in LA. What did you learn from each of these restaurants and what did you bring to Atelier Crenn?
Right. So Indonesia was very interesting. Was in Jakarta, which is not a pretty city. Very polluted, very, very, everybody's on top of each other. Amazing people, beautiful people. And there was a kitchen that all my brigade was just women. So we were a bunch of women running around and trying to cook. What it taught me, that experience taught me about humility and understanding others and other culture, and obviously food and religion. So that allowed me to also, it helped me to learn how to mentor the young generation. Los Angeles was, learning more about the job as far as, running a business and all that. But Atelier Crenn was, I had an accident in 2009 and I almost lost my life. And I knew I had nothing to lose. So I decided to, with Juan Contreras, he's my pastry chef and my partner, my business partner. I was like, we have to create a space. We have nothing to lose. We have to create a space where we can create, when we can bring people and give them a space to be who they want to be, and to create our own narrative and our own story, and to also create a safe place where cook are artists and let them be, and not be a space where you yell at each other and So that was kind of the space, and and that was kind of like the philosophy of my dad. I went to in 2010. I went to El Ceradec and Roca, the Roca brother. And then I was sitting in the restaurant, and I was like a little girl in something I've never seen before. But it reminded me of the symphony of of serving and plating that I've seen in France years before. And I say, I want a service like this. I want things to come together, and I want people to walk into the restaurant, even if it's my home. I want them to experience this hospitality, this love, this symphony, this movement, and all that. So, I mean, a lot of people inspire me, but I think it was very important to create a space that was welcoming, safe, and very creative.
And you named a restaurant after your father, right?
Yes, it's a workshop, an atelier, you know.
And how difficult was it to start the restaurant in San Francisco? And how long did it take for that restaurant to take off?
Oh, I mean, I started the restaurant in 2010, and we opened in 2011, January 2011. So remember the crisis,
Yeah.
2008, San Francisco. I was in the middle of the crisis. And I'm like, that's okay. I didn't have any money. I didn't have anything, but we sweat, we build, I got the lease from this beautiful Japanese family that the building was in their family for over 100 years. I literally shake hand to them. Mm-hmm. And I take care of it. So that's how I started. I mean, there was night that we had maybe 2 people make reservations. So we had to call them and say that the pipe broke. So we had to close the restaurant. I swear to God, it was 2011. I mean, now it's another story, but it took me years. And there was a food critics. I mean, people were starting to talk word to mouth. It's like, what is this restaurant? It's like, what is she doing? You know, and I remember like, there's a food critic that was saying, is like, well, now, I mean, I guess, you know, Chef Crenn and Chef Juan Contreras going to build a dish that looked like the Golden Gate Bridge. And I'm like, what? But it took, there is a critic, a writer, a very famous writer, very influential, that came, I think he was based on the East Coast, and really loved it. And then we start to get people that will start to be interested in what we were doing. And then Chef Table happened. So Netflix came and they heard about me and the restaurant. And I didn't want to do it. I mean, Juan and I were like, dude, we just opened the restaurant. And I said, I don't want another cooking show. I don't like cooking shows. I said, well, this is not a cooking show, it's a story. I'm like, no, I don't. And I said, well, do you know Massimo and do you know Manius? I want you to watch what we did with them for the first season. And then I really loved the cinematography of it.
It was very nice.
And then I was just like, okay, so what do you expect from me? And Andrew, the director, said nothing. I'm just going to follow you. Because what's going to happen, the story is going to come from you. And somehow, when we start to talk and they follow me and all that, what's keep coming back up was my dad. And what I realized that since he's dead, I never cope with it. I never took the time to be at peace with it. I think he died, passed away, and I was so heartbroken that I just work. And then I remember it was I think it was a Tuesday, and I got home from work, and Andrew called me. He's like, okay, I just bought some ticket. We are leaving tomorrow to France. And I'm like, what? We're going back to Brittany. I just like, okay. So we went back to Brittany, and when we finished it, he sent me the first cut of the documentary, and I got to tell you, I cried. I cried so much because I realized they gave me the ability to really put myself at peace with the death of my father. So, and it's a beautiful. Then then the documentary went on to 195 countries all over the world, and then the rest is history. The phone, I mean, it was, I think it was, we just got 2 Michelin stars. So the restaurant was stable,
Mm-hmm.
but forget about it. After the chef table, the it was incredible.
Oh, a couple of things about it. Like I remember in the book you mentioned that you had a very negative experience with investors of the restaurant, right?
Yes, so I partner investor, yes. I partner with one person at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I realized? We were not on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted something fast and making money and just doing things that we didn't believe Juan and I. So I didn't see eye to eye, but remember, you know, I was studying and I needed someone to do the finance, you know, and I so what I want to say to people that get when they get into the business, and I should have known, they have to really understand who they're getting into business with, because in the long run that could affect you. So in a couple of years being with that person, I realized very fast that was not the right person. So I hired a lawyer, and then I bought the company back, and now this is mine. No more craziness.
That's nice. How much of it for you is pure art versus business, meaning the financial side of it?
Oh, it's both. You have to be a good businesswoman now to, and I understand that. And but what I understood, that less is more. I am not into having a restaurant with, oh, you should have like 50 seat. I'm like, no, I can do amazing food. We have 24 seat. We
Hmm.
got eight table. I make more money, and thank God, to pay my team more money than I was doing 10 years ago. And we had 60 seat 10 years ago. Now at 24.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think it's about taking care of the people and giving them what they want and allowing them to really have a beautiful experience. And people are more inclined to spend money in those situations, you know.
You got your first Michelin star at Luce, right?
Luce,
And,
yeah.
and then 2 Michelin at Atelier Crenn and 3 at Atelier Crenn again. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
So walk me through, like, I would never get Michelin star, obviously. How does it feel to get one
Well, I think it's a
for a
little bit
chef?
personal because I grew up with the Michelin and France and Michelin.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the prestige of it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I never thought, I didn't cook to get those. It was never in my thinking, and it was an incredible things for them to recognize a style of cooking and a vision that was different than, you know, the different restaurant that get 1, 2, 3 star Michelin. You know, we like the we are like so outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
We are the underdog, you know. So how did he felt? I mean, he felt I was proud of my team. It was great because I come from the country of France, and this is where the Michelin started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that is the award, you know, those stars do not define who I am. It's really what I do with it
Mm-hmm.
that's going to allow me to find myself. So
But what's a typical process? They don't give you a heads up that they come in, right? It's a surprise.
I have no idea. We have no idea. See, I don't know. In France, it's a little bit different because I think people know who they are. I don't know. Maybe not, but they start to know. But here, it's like you have no idea. So every night is you serve. Everybody is a VIP every night. So that allow you to not be. And I don't want to know, because you know when you know, it's you like get more
Yes.
nervous. It's like when you know that there is a food critic in your restaurant, you're like, it's just messed up with you. I don't want to know. I want to do the job that I need to do to
Yeah.
create what we want to create. And if they love it, it's great. If they don't like it, well, too bad.
So I looked at the statistics. So there are approximately 7 or 800,000 restaurants in the United States, and only 14 of them have a three Michelin star.
Right.
And in the world, there are approximately 15 million restaurants and 137 three Michelin star restaurants.
Right.
How does it feel to be like one of the best in the world? I understand that you never wanted Michelin by itself was not the goal, but how did it feel for you, the person who haven't even had the education of the chef, to be one of the best?
You know, it's interesting when you say one of the best is, you know, we have to take Michelin for what it is they have the way that they give, you know, their stars is with expectation. So they have
Mm-hmm.
expectation and they have rules. Some rules, I guess, can define, you know, what they think should get or not. Um, we are, you know, like once again, we're very grateful to be a part of the family. Yet I have to tell you that there is a lot of amazing restaurants that have zero Michelin stars, and they are
Mm-hmm.
sometimes maybe better, you know. So, you know, like if you know, when I read about Georgia, the country and the food, I was so excited to test it, because I don't go to a restaurant because I see Michelin. I go to a restaurant because I want to know the chef and I want to
Mm-hmm.
test the food, you know. So yeah, I mean, we're very grateful to be on a part of that family, yet we are a part of a bigger family, which is the world of cooking. So
Yeah. So at this point, you've very much achieved everything as a chef. You have one of the best restaurants. You are critically acclaimed. What motivates you now, and what drives you on
what drives
continuing?
me right now?
Yes.
Humanity drives me. People, young people. I have two girls.
Mm.
I want to do things better. So I live on Earth in a way that I did my work. Um, Music inspire me, art inspire me, conversation, country that I don't know inspire me. So that's still there, you know. So
And
I have a lot to learn.
anything else you plan to do besides restaurants, or you still discovering that?
Yeah, I really want to continue to start on film things. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have a documentary that we did 3 years ago and until today, and I'm like working on new documentary, um, and because I want to tell story, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to, maybe it's time for me now. I have a platform to give that platform to others, so I'm interested to do that. Talk about things, you know, that are interesting to educate other people. Um, Photography, like I said, I wanted to be a photographer. I would
Yeah.
love to really dive into it. Um, just, you know, things that could really speak to me. I'm really open, and I just always want to learn, I think.
One interesting thing in the book that I found, there is a story where you tell where French president invited you to be one of the chefs for the big event, and this is the first time in the book where actually you discussing how nervous you were. I'm wondering why you were so nervous after being proved time and again one of the best in the world.
Well, I think I was nervous in a very respectful way,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a country that I left
Mm-hmm.
to come to United States. Um, then suddenly you've been asked by the French president to come back and be a part of those 5 chefs to cook at the Elysee, which was historically, you know, never been done before. Uh, and then you're like, why me? You know,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of nervousness, but nervousness in a way of being proud also. But remember, it was like Yannick Aleno, Guy Savoy, Anne-Sophie Fipic. It was Claire Etzer. She was at one point she was the pastry chef for Alain Ducasse. So all those names, then you have to cook for 300 chefs, French, and then the president and his wife. I mean,
No pressure.
no pressure, right? I said, what did she do? And so, yeah, I got a little bit nervous. But this is when I started, Chef Alain Ducasse was there. And I think Guy, Yannick, and Sophie, they were all doing kind of the French cooking and all that.
Yeah.
And I decided to do something else. And I did a rice cake with a lot of seaweed, which remind me of Brittany. And I did a dashi of seaweed with a beautiful langoustine. So it was a little bit of Japanese kind of like, but with all the product from Brittany. And I remember Alain Ducasse looked at me and was sitting with the president, and he's like, "Come here, Dom. This is really delicious." and then he asked me what I was doing that night, and I said, "I had a plan, but I said nothing." And so he invited us, my team and I. I mean, I had just one person with me, and we were cooking, and to his restaurant, and he took care of us. And I was just so taken by that generosity and that hospitality. And since then, now, he's been so kind and so loving to me. And I just got a letter a few days ago. He's opening a cooking school in Meudon. Meudon is where I grew up.
Uh-huh.
And he asked me if I was okay to call one of the classroom with my name.
Oh, wow.
I didn't believe that.
And for people who don't know, Alain Ducasse is one of the legendary French chefs. Like, I think he has 20-something Michelin stars combined, something ridiculous, right?
Yes.
Is that correct?
And one of the most inspiring person I ever met in my life. Extremely curious. Once again, a little, I'm nobody, and he take great pleasure to get to know you. And I thought that was very beautiful. And ask question and write that down. It's like he's a human that love curiosity and new thing. And it's nice to be able to be seen by someone like that.
One interesting thing I've noticed as I was reading the book is, like, I'm a banker and I work with tech companies, and there is this debate about not enough women in banking, not enough women in technology, and I didn't realize that restaurant industry has the same issue. I know you, yeah, I know you don't like to be kind of separated by when people say you're the only woman in the that have 3 Michelin stars because you treat everyone as equal. But I was curious, if you were born as a boy, how do you think your career would be different, if at all?
I don't know. I'm sure it would have been maybe easier. What we have to understand, in this story of world, women have been seen as literally, cooking at home, mother, taking care of the kids. So it's never be a workforce for a long time. So then when women start to have the right to vote, then this is when women start to be interested of doing other things. So I think it's still a man world, and I think it needs to be rebalanced. I think in the tech company, there's a lot of woman CEO, which is very exciting. But it's still very much a man world for sure. But it's interesting because the data in my industry from school, there is more women that going to school to learn how to be a chef than men, actually. I think it's like
interesting.
Yeah, especially in the United States, I think it was like over 50 something. They were,
God.
So it's there, there is this uh, I think that like when young women look at Anne-Sophie Pic or Elena Arzak, they see, they're like, okay, maybe I want to do this.
Hmm.
And hopefully, with me now, I can use this platform and showing them that they can also do that. So it's all about timing and making sure that also everybody, we come to the table and have that conversation, that we have as many good ideas than men, I think.
Agree, agree. 2019 was very interesting year for you. There are a lot of fascinating things. Michelin stars, your personal life, congratulations and everything there. And then you had this negative experience with. Can we talk?
Cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, and you cancer free right now, right?
I'm cancer free. Yeah,
Oh,
my hair's going back. You
oh,
see?
oh, that looks great. Congrats! Like I'm amazed how strong you are. Like it's crazy. So this experience, how did it affect you? Like going through cancer treatment and looking back that you in a sense were lucky that you discovered earlier. Did it have any profound effect?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I was going on a fast, way of like, Atelier Crenn and 3 stars and this and this. And then suddenly, um, then you discover that you have this disease and you're like, when that happened, I feel
Hmm.
good. I've been, I take care of myself. I just work, and then then you have the doctor in front of you. It's like, you got to slow down. You can't be at the restaurant every night. You can't do this. You have to take care of yourself. And you realize at that moment how precious your body is, but also fragile and could be very weak. So you literally, it's you against yourself, and the world doesn't matter anymore. What matters is how you're going to deal with this. So peeling the layers of it and going to the most difficult cancer treatment that
Hmm.
it's one of the most aggressive one that I got. So I had to go through a very aggressive treatment, and then suddenly you see your hair coming down, and then you see your skin changing, and you're not as strong as you were, and you don't know how that you're going to do that on your own, and you have to allow people to help you. It was a very hard time, but it's also time for me to really reflect on what matters, and who I'm really am, and and where I can go with that. And so it was yeah, it really humbled me a lot. Humility was at the core of everything. So
I'm very glad that your health is back.
yeah.
Your memoir is ending almost with one thing that you decide to find your biological mother, and I was wondering whether there was any progress on that front, or you got caught by COVID. What's the?
I get cut by COVID. Well, I have all the paperwork right now, and it's something that by beginning of 2021, probably I'm going to take.
Oh
Uh,
wow!
yeah, I'm going to take a trip and see what's come out of it.
I hope you update your Instagram. I really want, and I mean that would be amazing.
I mean, it's kind of like really strange, because it's like, why do I want to find my birth mother when I have an amazing mother,
Yeah.
and it's most and I, like when I'm with friends, and then I'm with them and their parents, you can look at them and look at their parents, they have the same nose, the same eyes, and then what I'm looking for, I'm not sure. I think I'm looking for a closure.
Probably like that moment where you describe how you written the letters. That was emotional. I can't imagine.
I couldn't, that's why I want to find her, because she wanted to get me back.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that was probably the key of still wanting me to find her, because I try to understand the pain of a mother that's kids, and suddenly the kids, uh, her kids are taken away, and because she couldn't take care of them. But the feeling of being a mother, you can't take that away, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That would be that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to hopefully finding out about it. Dominique, I have this quick blitz in the end. I'll read a quick question and you give me a quick answer,
Okay.
whatever comes to your mind. What's your favorite movie?
Cinema Paradiso.
What's your favorite song?
Oh, my favorite song. Oh my God, I have a lot. Nina Simone. Well, I'm gonna say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna say Whitney Houston. I will always love you.
Ah, okay. Your favorite dish?
Tomato.
Your favorite restaurant in the US besides Atelier Crenn?
Atelier Crenn. Uh, I don't have a favorite. I have a lot of fun, so I don't want to say, I don't have any favorite. Oh, you know what? I do. I should say no. I know. No, I do have one, and Stone Barn Blue Hill Den Barber.
Oh, nice. Uh, is there like any rising culinary star that you watching?
I'm watching a lot of youngster.
Hmm.
Watching few people in Africa, but I'm watching my friend, and I think she's a star on her own. Manu in in Brazil.
Hmm.
Uh, Manu Farah. So she's an amazing. I think she's gonna do very well. Um, I think Claire Smith is a star on her own in England. She's amazing. But there's a lot of young people that I'm watching that, you know, I've been looking at a lot of Instagram and what people have done for their community as chefs. They are, for me, they already are a star when they do good thing, good work. So,
Got it. What's your first item on your bucket list?
what do you mean on my bucket list?
Yeah.
Disneyland, baby. No, I'm kidding. That is not true. My first item on my bucket list is to go to Georgia.
Oh, nice. And the last question, what life advice would you give young people?
What advice? What I will give them is get to know who you are and be confident and not be afraid that you can do anything you want, but just know who you are and know your vision. And walk through life with humility, respect for others, and respect for yourself.
Dominique, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it and best of luck.